Hey everybody, welcome back to Terrific Con. I'm Drew with Splash Pages, and I am so happy to be sitting here with a comic book legend, the one, the only, Mr. Mark Bagley. Sir, how are you doing today?
I am doing good. How are you doing?
Everyone's so polite, and being from New York, I don't know how to interpret
Go fuck
that.
yourself then.
There you go. That's what I'm used to. That's so much better. Thank you, sir. It's good
You're
to
welcome.
see you. Thank you.
Make you feel like you're at home.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So, in my first question is kind of about the beginning. So I believe we're turning it back to 1983. You were interested in doing the Marvel Tryout book.
I was absolutely uninterested in doing
Oh,
it.
you were?
I
Okay.
was, and a friend of mine gave it to me.
Right. It was a Cliff Bridger.
Cliff Biggers, yeah.
Biggers, yeah. And I think you won, but you didn't even start till you met Jim Shooter at a convention like a few months ago.
Yeah, it
like
was
that.
I got a phone call one night. I'd sent in this stuff like months before, and I got a phone call one night. Hey, you won the tryout contest? I'm like, wow, this is the start, you know. And
right.
Didn't hear shit for like 6 months, and I think it was that long. It's been a long time, so.
Yeah.
But Shooter and Romita and a bunch of people were coming down from Marvel for Dragon Con, which is really early Dragon Con. It was still just a comic book show.
Right.
And so I walked up to Shooter in the lobby of the hotel, and, you know, his 6'7" black suit, craggy face, scary. And I looked up at him and said, Mr. Shooter, I'm Mark Bagley. I won a tryout contest. And he's like, oh, we really dropped the ball on this. There's a lot of shit. So he says, we'll get you up to New York. You can meet the editors. You can do all this stuff. And I looked at him, and I was so young and kind of naive. I went, I can't afford to fly to New York. And he pats me on the head, literally. He goes, it's okay. We'll fly you.
Wow, what a guy. So, starting there, you did New Warriors, you did Thunderbolts, you did a ton of Spider-Man and some Venom. I kind of imagine you were kind of like, I'm done. I'm good with Spider-Man and whatnot. And then, you know, early 2000, Bill Jemis shows up. He's a fan of your work on the Marvel trading cards. He's like, there's this project.
You've done your research.
Thank you. I try. He's like, I have this project, Brian Michael Bendis. I think you'd be perfect for it. I believe you turned it down 3 times. And you're like, all right, fine. I'll give this a shot.
Yeah. I still love Spider-Man, but, you know, I was when I was doing Amazing Spider-Man, it was 4 books, and they're all interconnected, and you couldn't start a story and couldn't finish a story and that sort of thing. And so I was ready to go, and I had trouble landing on something. I did Thunderbolts, which, thankfully.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, it was Ultimate Spider-Man. They pitched it to me, and it just sounded like, you know, John Byrne had just done his, what was that?
Spider-Man year one,
which went over like a fart in church.
Yeah, it was
bad.
Right.
And I didn't know Brian Bendis was, and I was kind of pissed off at some stuff up at Marvel anyway.
Right.
So I turned it down. And finally, the third time, you're like, look, you're always kind of looking for extra work.
Right.
I could always do a bit more than 1 book a month.
Mm-hmm.
You take this or else, kind of, sort of.
Right.
And I said, or else. So I took it, and I didn't really get it for the first couple of issues.
Right.
The first plot came in. It was a double-sized issue. But the script was like this long. I mean, it was like 60 pages, it felt like, anyway.
Right.
And he's not even in costume. So, anyway. But I got it, and
the rest is history.
Glommed onto it, and the rest is like Brian and I hug each other a lot.
There you go. Yeah. So you were doing that for a while. You kind of closed the chapter with issue 111, which was your handoff to Stuart Inman, who followed you after doing the historic run. And then you went to D.C. for a bit. You worked on... with Judd Winnick following the Battle of the Cowl for like 2-3 issues. And you also work with James Robinson on his like Justice League 2.0.
Right. Yeah.
You know, but like what was that like? You went from Marvel to DC. It was miserable?
It was nothing, you know, nobody's fault, nothing vindictive or anything. But I enjoyed working with Winnick on the Batman thing.
Right.
But when it came to working with James on JLA, he didn't get to use the characters he wanted to use. I didn't get to use characters we wanted to use. They forced us into this weird crossover with the Blackest Night, just shoehorn that in there. And he was pretty miserable writing it for a lot of reasons. There's a lot out, you know, which, you know, I did the best I could, but neither one of us were happy as hell then. You know, I started out doing Trinity, a weekly book, and that turned into nothing like I signed on for, because I really wanted to do Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Trinity, and that book within 3 months was everybody but Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, and blame can go around for that, but I'm going to let that lie.
Well, that's fair enough. So, and then you came back to the Ultimate Universe.
I came home.
Yeah. You closed out your metaphorical chapter on Peter Parker. You did the death of Spider-Man.
And then Brian brought him back, and I'm really pissed off at him about that, actually. But I'll get over it.
Yeah, because I remember you did that. you, like I said, you guys had heralded the end of the Ultimate Universe. You know, the Secret Wars, and then you even did the 2 pages in like Spider-Man 2, which saw your universe kind of back for like oh hey look, everybody's here.
I guess I did.
Yeah,
I
so
don't remember.
No, yeah. So the question for that is, are there any like fun? I love behind the scenes stories, like working on Ultimate Spider-Man and everything. Like anything fun, any character you're like, I do not like doing this person.
You know, I wouldn't. The whole Geldof story arc was kind of laid there, but no, it was just fun working with Brian, and his dialogue is so damn. Even if I wasn't all that thrilled with the story, like the X-Men crossover we had, and it was like the faux Deadpool and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how fully realized the story that was, but the dialogue was so good, and the inking was great, and the coloring was beautiful. Justin Ponzer colored it, which elevates everything I was doing. And I was, you know, when you're doing this for a living, you kind of get in a slump occasionally. You're out, sometimes you're on, sometimes you're off.
Right.
And during that part of Ultimate Spider-Man, I think I was really on, and I had these great guys making my stuff look even better. So, you know, so I'm pretty proud of all that.
So the last question I have is that I feel Tom Holland Spider-Man gets compared to Ultimate Spider-Man a lot. Like I was watching Homecoming, everyone was like, I'm seeing a lot of Ultimate Spidey, especially that he can't seem to keep the mask on, which I remember was a running gag with yours. He's always like, oh, I'm Peter, and I'm like, you really are very young. So what would you like? Do you have any favorite portrayals of, you know, the old webhead? And I have to ask, did you ever get invited to any Marvel premieres? Did you get to meet anybody?
I get invited, but I've actually never really gone because I don't go in for that sort of thing too much. You know, I've had very little input on the movies, but they have. I mean, the Andrew Garfield movies, they basically based that costume off the way I draw Ultimate Spider-Man. I mean, I actually did some drawings, you know, background stuff for the film. Right. And so, and I always like, I like Tom Holland a lot, but I really liked Andrew Garfield. I just wish the movies had been better. You know?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you know, that's the best thing about the multiverse. Apparently, you know, we could always get a third Amazing Spider-Man. You know, but hey, so all right, everybody, Mr. Bagley, thank you so much. Everybody, Mr. Bagley.
You're welcome.
Mark Bagley, everybody. If you don't know him, change that. Come by, buy his commission, spend money, give it to him.
To know me is to love me.
Indeed. And stay tuned. We've got a lot more for Terrific Con, so keep it up, Webheads.
Excelsior!